stop scrolling, because what you're about to see will change the way you think about something you eat every single day. Bread. Medieval peasants knew secrets about bread that modern bakers have completely forgotten, and missing this could mean you're consuming food that's not just bland, but actually working against your body. Imagine bread so alive it could heal, energize, and even preserve life during times of famine. And yet, today, we bite into a loaf that's barely food at all. You see, back then, bread wasn't just bread. It was a living, breathing craft, fermented for days in ways we call ancient. But the truth is, it was science, without any textbooks. Peasants would use wild yeasts from the air, from grains, even from their kitchens, cultivating tiny, invisible communities that made bread rise, bubble, and practically sing with flavor. And here's the thing. These tiny yeasts also made the bread digestible, full of nutrients, and alive in a way that our supermarket loaves will never be. But modern bread is different. Most of it is baked in factories in hours, stripped of its soul, pumped with additives, and designed to last longer than your pantry, and, secretly, longer than your gut wants. Pause and think. Your ancestors survived wars, plagues, and winters on bread that your body would recognize as medicine. And we can't even make a loaf that tastes right anymore. But that's just the start. You'd be shocked to learn that some of the techniques peasants used were so precise, so intentional, they were closer to chemistry than cooking. They knew which grains to combine, which water to use, which temperature to let it rise, and every step mattered. Skip one, and the bread could collapse, or worse, make you sick. And here's a twist you won't see coming. This knowledge was guarded. Families passed it down through generations like treasure maps, because a village without good bread was a village at risk. They weren't just baking, they were surviving. And what we do today? We throw the old methods away for speed, for uniformity, for profit. But what if I told you that hidden in these forgotten methods is a secret that could make bread taste better than anything in stores, keep you fuller, and even support gut health in ways science is only now beginning to understand? That's right. The peasants were on to something centuries ahead of our time, and we've lost it. And it's not just flavor. There's a reason why modern bread can spike your blood sugar and leave you craving more, while ancient bread could sustain you for hours without crashes. It's the fermentation, the natural yeast, the care in making it alive. And here's the kicker. There are recipes still hidden in old manuscripts, in diaries, even scratched into the walls of bakeries, showing exactly how to recreate these powerful breads. But even if you find them, almost nobody teaches them, almost nobody remembers them, and almost no one truly understands why they worked so well. Every loaf today is a shadow of what peasants once made daily, by hand, with knowledge born from necessity, intuition, and observation. And this is where it gets personal. Think about every meal you've had recently, every sandwich or toast, every slice of supermarket bread. Did it nourish you or just fill you? Imagine the difference if you could bring back the living, vital bread that shaped medieval communities, that helped people survive famine, that literally carried life. And here's another twist. Some scientists are now studying these ancient grains and fermentation techniques and realizing that peasants' loaves had health benefits modern bread doesn't even come close to. They weren't guessing. They were observing, experimenting, adjusting, and perfecting with every batch. And the most shocking part? This wasn't just peasant wisdom. It was survival strategy. Villages that lost the knowledge of proper bread making didn't just get hungrier. They suffered illness, weakness, even death. Bread was life, literally. And now, centuries later, we've dumbed it down to rectangles wrapped in plastic, with shelf life prioritized over human life. But here's the reveal you can't miss. If we take the time to rediscover these methods, even partially, We could transform what we eat today, making bread flavorful, healthy, and alive again. And some bakers, rare ones, are doing it quietly in small towns, creating loaves that would astonish anyone used to modern bread. Imagine tasting a slice and feeling instantly the difference. It's rich, tangy, chewy, nourishing. That's what peasants knew. That's what we lost. And that's what you can reclaim. So the next time you bite into bread, ask yourself, am I eating life or just filler? Because the difference is centuries old, hidden in forgotten kitchens waiting for someone curious enough to notice. Don't let this secret die. The knowledge is there, the recipes exist, and the power of bread is waiting for you to taste it. And now you know the truth. Medieval peasants weren't just making food, they were crafting survival, science, and magic in every loaf. And if you skip this, if you ignore it, you're missing the most important lesson your ancestors wanted to pass on, that bread can be more than food. It can be alive. But here's something almost nobody realizes. The bread peasants made didn't just feed the body, it trained the gut, the mind, even the immune system, without them knowing it. Think about it. Every bite contained microbes, enzymes, and acids carefully balanced through fermentation. Tiny, invisible workers that modern bread has led off with heat and chemicals. And it wasn't easy. Every season brought new challenges. The grain quality changed, the water varied, even the air had different wild yeasts. Peasants adapted, adjusting techniques based on what nature threw at them, learning through trial, error, and observation. And here's the twist that will make you question everything in your kitchen. Some of these breads were naturally leavened in ways that could last for months without going bad, sustaining families through winters and famine, long before fridges or preservatives existed. Modern bread, it rots, molds, and yet is pumped with additives to look perfect. Nothing alive, nothing real. And the wildest part? This knowledge was practical magic. Bakers could predict how dough would behave, almost like they were whispering to it, coaxing life from flour, water, and time. Imagine that, a loaf of bread that listens, reacts, and transforms in your hands. And yet, this intimate understanding of food vanished, replaced by speed, machines, and profit. But here's a question for you. What if your daily loaf could do more than fill you? What if it could heal, nourish, even energize like it once did? That's not a fantasy. Researchers digging into old techniques are finding grains with far higher nutritional value, natural fermentation that improves digestion, and flavors that modern bread can't touch. And here's an emotional beat. Every time you bite into supermarket bread, you're eating emptiness, while your ancestors thrived on a loaf that was alive, vibrant, and deeply connected to the land and seasons. And yet, there's hope, because a few rare bakers and historians are quietly bringing these lost techniques back. They're not just making bread, they're resurrecting centuries of wisdom, one need at a time. And here's the final twist, the payoff you've been waiting for. The secret ingredient isn't exotic, isn't rare. It's time, patience, and respect for natural fermentation. That's it. Nothing fancy, nothing chemical. Just the ancient rhythm of making bread the way it was meant to be made. And when you taste it, your senses will know immediately. You'll feel the difference in your body, your energy, even your mood. That's the power peasants understood. A power that modern life almost erased, but is still accessible if you choose to seek it. So here's the truth that will stay with you. Bread can be alive, nourishing, and transformative. You've been eating shadows for centuries. The light, the real living bread, is waiting, and it's ready to remind you what we've lost, what we can reclaim, and why something as simple as a loaf of bread can carry the weight of survival, wisdom, and life itself. Don't let it slip by. And here's the reveal that will make you rethink every slice you've ever eaten. The secret to the peasant's bread wasn't fancy ovens, expensive tools, or exotic grains. It was understanding the invisible life inside the dough. They knew how to nurture it, feed it, and let it grow in its own time. Skip that step, and modern bread loses its soul, its nutrition, even its purpose. But when you follow it, even partially, the result isn't just food. It's almost alive in your hands with flavor that hits every sense and energy that carries through your day. And here's the twist you won't see coming. This knowledge is still accessible today. In dusty manuscripts, hidden diaries, and tiny village bakeries, the old ways survive, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. And that's the emotional punch. Each loaf is a connection to hundreds of generations who survived, thrived, and even celebrated life through the simplest ingredient, grain. Modern bread may fill your stomach, but it leaves your body and mind craving something it doesn't have. The life that peasants bake, D into every slice. So, the next time you tear open a loaf from the store, ask yourself, is this nourishment or just convenience? And the real payoff, the secret you can take home, is that with patience, care, and a little knowledge, you can recreate something your ancestors understood instinctively. Bread that's alive, vibrant, and deeply connected to nature. That's the power they held, and it's still waiting, hidden in plain sight, ready to transform something as ordinary as a loaf into something extraordinary. Don't miss it. Don't settle for emptiness, because bread, when made the right way, isn't just food. It's life itself. And here's something almost nobody tells you. The moment you taste bread made the old way, something clicks in your body and mind. It's subtle at first, the aroma, the chew, the tang. But then you realize, this is what humans thrived on for centuries. Every bite is a story, a survival strategy, a lesson from the past baked into flour and water. And here's the twist. This isn't nostalgia or myth. Science now confirms that long fermentation unlocks nutrients, balances blood sugar, and even feeds your gut in ways modern loaves can't touch. The peasants weren't lucky. They were masters of food, chemistry, and nature, without ever writing a single formula. And here's the most shocking part. This knowledge was deliberately kept secret in villages, passed quietly from hand to hand, like treasure maps no outsider could follow, which means every modern loaf you eat is missing centuries of wisdom. And yet, it's still waiting for someone brave enough to rediscover it. And now, here's your ultimate payoff. You can be that someone. You don't need a medieval oven, or secret yeast, or even a master's permission. All you need is curiosity, patience, and respect for the process. Because when you start baking, or even tasting, like the peasants did, you're not just maki nung bread. You're reconnecting with life itself, with the rhythms, flavors, and intelligence that sustained humans for generations. And that's the truth most people skip over. Bread isn't just food. It's survival, science, magic, and history in every slice. Skip it, and you miss centuries of knowledge. Embrace it, and you rediscover a connection to life, to nature, and to the wisdom our ancestors baked into something as simple, yet extraordinary as a loaf. So the next time you hold a slice in your hand, remember, it's alive, it's powerful, and it's capable of more than you ever imagined. Don't eat emptiness. Eat life.